All right. Okay, you should have
Okay.
access now. Sorry about that, guys.
Okay, no worries. Okay, so I wanted to show you some graphics. Hold on, let me hop over to, oops, hold on, there we go. Okay, so I wanted to show you some graphics that I hate, and I'm sorry if any of you made these. So I just wanted to show you, like, this is busy and it screams not professional, okay? This is hard to read. And while we're on the topic of guess how many, like, you guys, I use one of these every single party. However, I started making my own because guests just Google the answers. So, so literally, I don't know why it won't let me show you the next one, but if you can see on the right, this one is one we took in my kitchen because it's easier to just do it, just count some M&Ms and throw them in there. It doesn't matter. This is Crazy Town, doesn't show our product in the best light. Pieces of it are cut off. There's all kinds of insanity happening here. This is not what you want in your party. I also hate this because there's just, like, our products are slapped on top of some other stuff, okay? So I can go through all of these. This is too many words. And if you're a host and you send this to a host, she's gonna be like, I have to do what? Oh my God, it's too much. It's too much. Again, this is like too busy. It's not clear. It doesn't look professional. Also, this is kind of nuts. It's just like there's a lot of extraneous extra stuff that's not needed. This one, you could probably find it in the virtual party group. Kind of blurry. The products are like slapped on here. This is not, this is just not, oh God, and wanted. Okay, yeah, no, let me move my face here because I want to show you some professional ones. I'm going to come back to that one. This is a video from marketing imagery. Anything in marketing imagery has a professional look to it. You know why? Because there are professionals that made it. People who are paid and have degree in marketing made those images. Use them. They're there for you. They're amazing. Again, that's one we'll come back to that one. This is one we took when I earned that new thing, and you can put anything on that whiteboard. Just put it into video editing. I mean, it's a crazy picture of me, but I think it's important, and that's why we're here. I think it's important that you put pictures of yourself in there. If you're not comfortable on video, maybe just find one or two photos that you're happy with a product, because it makes you a real person. It makes you not look like a bot in your party. This is an example of an engaging graphic because they get to put what number they are, and as soon as they put a number, I pop back with a question for them. If they say number 2, I've got a few Pampered Chef items, I'm asking, what do you have in your kitchen? If they say I use Pampered Chef products every day, number 3, I'm asking, what's your favorite product? So every single thing, we get a back and forth on that post. This, again, is one that I use, that we made. It's very clean, though, and it's not visually cluttered, if that makes sense. Another clean, not visually cluttered one. And I wanted to go, okay, this one did really well in my parties last season. What fictional character's death effect? It's like, it has nothing to do with food, but it gave them a chance to put some information out there. They could go back and forth. This one I wanted to show you. This one I stole from Kathy, so I don't think she's on here. I stole this idea from her because she had a picture of her holding up this same skillet, and it was her. It was her real person, you know? But I put this one in the start of my party every time. I say, this is my favorite product in the catalog, and I say why, and the words that go with it are, if you could recommend one Pampered Chef product, what would it be? But the rules are you can't repeat what anybody else said. So they've got to read through all the other comments before they can write theirs. So they're seeing recommendations from all of their friends. Well, maybe not all their friends, but all of the party guests. And they have a chance to say theirs. And so I usually pop back to each one of those comments. You know, they'll say the food chopper, and I'll say, yeah, the only way to chop onions, am I right? You know, and then they'll say the stoneware, and I'll say, everything I bake goes on a stone. So I'm commenting back to every single comment they make, but it gives them a chance to, shout out something of theirs, and it forces everybody to read the same one or read each other's. So anyway, I just wanted to show you a couple of those. So when you are creating your template, you want to make sure that you have a really good mix of products, and you want to talk about features and benefits. And guess where I get the words that I post in my party? Straight from the website. I don't really worry about changing it up much because those words were written, again, by a professional who has a degree in marketing, and they are a good mix of features and benefits. So they're telling you all about the product and how it's useful. So I throw some of my own little stuff in there, but the bulk of what I have is right from the website. So I mean, I would, if I was talking about the stainless steel skillet, it would be everything that the website says, and then I would be, I love this one because it makes me a better cook. Done. That's how much I add to that. And so you want to have a good mix of products, recipes, tips, and engagement. So 25% of your template, 25% of your posts need to be engagement posts. 25%. And I do not pull my engagement posts from Consultant's Corner. So my engagement posts are not, do you like, I don't even know what they have on there anymore, but like, I think they had one that was like, what are you making for dinner tonight? I don't pull it from there. I don't have their stuff because honestly, I have what fictional character's death affected you the most, or if you had to pick only 2 80s movies to keep, what would they be? Stuff that I feel like, my people are going to want to talk about. Those of you who are home party consultants or were home party consultants pre-COVID, you know that when those guests are congregating before and after the party, they're not only talking about food, they're talking about their lives and other things. So you've got to give them a chance to do that in your virtual party as well. So you want to make sure you have a good mix in that. So you may need to sit down and work on your template a little bit and make sure that you have all of that. Now, let's talk for a second about, nope, we'll get to that in a second. That's my next bullet point. But the other thing I was going to say is, are you engaging your guests from the very beginning? One thing that I do, and I only touch my parties once each day. I don't have time. I just counted. I did 40 parties in October. I can guarantee you with 40 parties, I do not have time to sit and look at every notification as it pops up. I don't do that enough. I say, okay, now it's time to look at Ruth's party. I log into Ruth's party and I scroll through everything in that party and I touch what I need to touch. I do that once a day. Because I'm posting all throughout the day, I use Facebook Scheduler to post. We can talk about that another time, but my scheduled posts are popping in. So it looks like I'm active all day, but I'm only really going in and answering questions once a day. During that time, they'll answer all the questions, look at all the posts that have happened that day. And I also welcome my guests every day. And so I use the little welcome button to welcome the new people. And it'll say, it populates, let's welcome our new guests. And I always say, drop a GIF below to say hello. And then I put a different hello GIF every day. And then that gives my guests the opportunity to come back. I start that from the very first day I create the party, because Facebook does not like groups that are dormant. It doesn't matter if people are joining, Facebook wants to see activity. So when you write that welcome post, you're automatically tagging your new guests because it populates that. And you're asking them to drop a GIF, and then the other people will also drop one. So it's showing activity from the get-go. That's why you don't set your Facebook parties up a week ahead of time. You do it right when you're ready to invite. So you want to make sure that you are engaging those guests and having those guests be active from the very, very beginning. And then, are you thanking your guests for their order? And this is a huge, huge shout out to Sue Moulton. And I distinctly remember which car I was sitting in which parking spot, waiting for which kids' practice to be over, when I was listening to a training Sue did. And she said, and this is like a light bulb moment, that she doesn't just put up like a thank you graphic when somebody orders. Let's say, Molly ordered the brownie pan. What Sue does is find a brownie pan recipe and say, thanks for your order, Molly. Use your brownie pan for boop, and then puts the link to the recipe on her website right there. Bang. now I've done several things. Everybody else is like, ooh, I got to get me one of them brownie pans. Everybody else in the party's like, ooh, that looks like a good recipe. Molly's like, yay, I know what to do with my new thing when it comes. And everybody's like, oh, hey, look, here's her website. Okay, so that does a lot. One thing that I consistently hear back from my guests, because I do have a lot of guests that will tell me, like, no, I don't want to do a party, but this party was great. But they will tell me a lot that they enjoyed the party, because that's one thing I always ask, are you enjoying the party? And I do hear back a lot. I love all the recipes. They do not mean the recipes that are coming in my everyday posts, like, our rock crock can make this, blah, blah, blah. That's not the recipes they're talking about. They're talking about those thank you recipes, I guarantee you. So I keep notes, and I, again, once a day, like I said, I log into Ruth's party, I look at all her comments, I welcome her guests, and then I pop over to Consultant's Corner and see who has ordered in the last 24 hours. And that's when I thank them. I thank them all in one fell swoop. Each one gets their own individual post with their recipe, but I do it one time a day. That's it. That way I make sure I haven't, because I'm not asking my host to thank them. That's too much work for her. And I'm not putting, you know, a different graphic up every time. It's just, like I said, that recipe. So thank you, Stu. So one thing I wanted to say was, I think I don't ask guests if they, I just saw a question pop up. I don't ask guests if they mind a public thank you. I've had one or two, like literally in the 1,000 shows I've done in the past couple of years on Facebook, I've had probably 5 people who were like, don't. I have one person who messaged me before things got rolling because she was in a previous party and she saw it and she was like, I don't want to be thanked. I was like, okay, we're not thanked. No, I was like, whatever. And then I've had 1 or 2 that said it was a gift. And so we just, you know, didn't do it. But I've never had more than that. So I don't ask, it's just what I do. And I think when they see it happening, you know, they know. So if somebody does have an issue, they would let me know ahead of time. I want you to rethink how Facebook works. I know there's a lot of people who stress about how many posts they have in their parties. And they're like, oh, I can't do that. That's too many. And they get like really stressed out about, I posted this first and now I have to post this. I want you to think when your customer's experience with your party is not the way that a lot of us think it is. They very, very, very few of your guests are going on Facebook, finding the party group, getting into the party group and scrolling through the group and looking at the posts. I can guarantee you almost none of them are doing that. What they are doing is sitting on the toilet or in their kitchen while their kids are eating and just scrolling Facebook like this. And your party posts are popping up intermittently when Facebook decides it wants them to pop up. That's what happens to your average party guest, okay? So it doesn't matter how many posts you do. It doesn't matter what order they're in. I mean, for us, it makes sense logically to have a certain order. And sometimes I will feature like a rock crock, and then I'll feature a rock crock recipe. And I will say something like, you know, use the rock crock for that chicken pot pie recipe we discussed earlier. So I will reference it, but so if they wanted, they could go back and find it, but it's not dependent upon them seeing it. I hope that makes sense. Because your guests are just encountering your posts as Facebook feeds it to them. Because you know, when you're looking at Facebook, when you're just scrolling mindlessly, right, you're not in search of something, that you will see something that your next door neighbor posted 5 minutes ago, right? And right below that will be a post that, like, you know, your sister posted 4 days ago. And you're like, what? I didn't know you got a puppy. You know, where have I been? She's like, well, I posted on Facebook. Facebook has its own decisions about when it puts stuff to you, and it makes no sense, and no one will ever figure it out. So do not think that your guests are seeing things in a certain order. Like, I want you to remember that it doesn't matter, as long as you don't anger the Facebook gods, it doesn't matter how many posts you put in the party, because it's not going to make your guests mad. They're just going to scroll through. As long as you're not tagging them in every post, don't do that. So I wanted to show you a method that I've been using to increase my bookings. And this, I guess, has been around for a a while. I hadn't heard of it until this past January. But when I did hear about it, it really sounded like it's something that has kind of been around. The original person that gets credit for it is Ann Miller. And she called the method Everyone Wins. This was a holdover from her in-home party days. So when she would do an in-home party, she would have every single person was a winner, if you will, of the raffle drawing. And when they would check out with her, she would say, "Oh my gosh, you won. Like, I can give you," I don't remember what she used to offer them instead. "Or if you want to upgrade to a brownie pan, we can set a date for a party and I'll give you a brownie pan." So she gave everybody a brownie pan. Well, fast forward, it's 2022. Everybody already has a brownie pan. They don't need a brownie pan. So we got to find something different. But I do this in my parties, and I usually get about 4 or 5 bookings every party. So like I said, before you can start this, you got to make sure that you're somebody that they're going to want to book with, that you're having a good experience in your party, so they'll want to repeat that. But the magic is in the numbers. If you are truly asking every single party guest, and how many of you honestly, remember Jesus is watching, honestly can say that you ask every single guest? Does that happen? I start out to ask every single guest, and then I get discouraged after like the second no, and then I don't. So this is an easy way to ask every single guest, and it gives them an easy way to say yes or no. So what I do, and I can show you in one of my parties the exact words I use, but okay. So somebody just said, how far do you space the bookings from each party? Sometimes I try to be really mindful of that and space them out, and just like try to do maybe a few weeks in between. But this fall has been really weird because it was like everybody wanted to do a party like in November. I mean, why wouldn't they, right? It's an amazing host offer. They didn't know that when they booked it, but I have had a few hosts who had their future parties just right one after the other, but I let them know that up front. And I'm doing the best I can to space it out, but sometimes people want what they want. So I try to be conscious of that and work around that. So for the Everyone Wins thing, I try to have at least 25 guests in my party. So that means that's 25 possible bookings that there's 25 people that could book, right? And I have some parties that have 10 people. I have some parties that have 120 people. And I'm gonna tell you something, them 120 people parties, they don't never book, nobody books from that. Nobody even, but what I'm saying is I try to average about 25. And with those, so I want you to think about 25 people. Not all 25 of them are active or engaged in the party, okay? The original method that Ann Miller taught was that every single one of them should win a drawing. I felt really disingenuous saying to Susie Q, you didn't show up or make a single comment in the party, you didn't buy anything, and I never saw you after you joined, you won the drawing. Like, I didn't feel like that was honest. So what I do is I offer on many of my engagement posts tickets for the raffle drawing. Very vague. Each answer will get you tickets towards the raffle drawings at the end. They don't have to know that everyone wins, everyone who participates anyway. And what I do, and I will actually, we can go into one of my parties. We'll go into Jeanette's party. Oops, I didn't share my screen. Hold on. That would be helpful, wouldn't it? Okay, so here we're in Jeanette's party. Okay. Over here on the search bar, I just typed the word ticket. And then all the posts I did that have tickets or ticket in there will pop up. And so like this one I showed you earlier, all I do is I hover over, I hope you can see this. I hover over this and see all these names pop up. So I keep a little piece of scratch paper and I jot them down. Now I keep a couple on my scratch paper. I make a couple of columns and label one column game. I label one column as participation, and I label one column as early bird. Okay. So all these names I would put under the participation column, and I just jot them down. Okay. And then I scroll on. Oh, look, how many jelly beans? Okay. That's a game. So I scroll down all these names. I put all those names under the game one, and so on and so forth. So I just go through. The other thing I search for is the word ticket, because sometimes I write tickets, sometimes I write tickets. And then the other thing that I search for is I look at my template, because I only use one template for 6 months. I use the same one. I don't adjust it every month for this month, or it's snowfall time. We actually sat down and made like a pumpkin template and a cookie template last year and saw zero difference in sales or bookings. So I said, there's no reason to do that. We're never doing that again. So we have one template. So I look at each of my engagement posts in that one template. And so like one of them said, which fictional character's death affected you the most, right? So whatever words I put with that, like, I can't even remember, like, oh, it broke my heart when, I look for a unique word like broke. That's not a word I use in every single post, like the word food would be. So I would maybe search for the word broke. And so that would bring up that post. I would hover over the comments and jot those names down. So does that make sense about how I'm collecting those names? All right. Then I pop over to Consultant's Corner and I see who has ordered. I do this on the last day of the party. Who has ordered so far? Those names go in my early bird column. So now I have 3 columns with names. Now I play with my names a little bit. Okay. If somebody in the early bird column is also in the game column, I cross them out of the game column because they can't win twice. Okay. So I shift my names around, and anybody who answered in the game column, I feel like could also, I can put their name over in the participation one. So I just play with it until I have sort of an even number in each column, although the early birds can be a little shy sometimes because sometimes people don't order till the last minute. So I might only have 2 or 3 names in my early bird column, and then maybe 5 or 6 in my other 2. So does that make sense so far? So I've got all my names, right? Okay. So then what I do is I'm going to show you, I've got my stuff saved in Evernote, but it's fine. I just wanted to show you what I do. So this is a graphic we made. I make a post with this graphic and I write, this is what I'll write. Whoops. Our early bird raffle winners are, and then I list their names. So the post will tag them. And then it says, I've sent you a message, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I post that up there. And actually, let me show you a party that, who did I do earlier today? Because that way you can see it in action. Bear with me one second. I did Tara earlier today. So let's just find. Okay, this way you can see. Okay, so see, I had 3 early bird winners. Okay, so I made this post and then I go hover over the name and I can send a message. All right, so we'll look at Molly because she was a no. Molly didn't want to do it. So the message that I send is, and the part after her name, I just copy and paste. So I write, hi, Molly, and then I paste. It's Paper Chef Amy. I wanted to thank you for joining Tara's party. Did you see that you were one of the raffle drawing winners? Message me back to let me know you got this message and I'll give you your prize options. Okay, so I send that off. Once she messages me back, and she's always like, wow, do I get a car? No, you don't, but no. And I say, here are your prize options. I usually give an e-cookbook as a prize, but I would love to offer you the option to upgrade your prize to one of the choices below. I'm sure you have tons on your wish list. I can share all this wording with you, so don't feel like you have to, whatever, you know. And then this is the key part though, okay? What do you think about surprising host name by being one of her bookings? If she gets 3, she gets a bonus. I'm currently scheduling for fill in the month. It's super important to put that because you're offering her a chance to get a goodie for herself. You're telling her that will also benefit her friend, and you are telling her when you want her to do it. Super important, okay? Worded this way, a lot of the times it gets a yes. Now, what are you going to offer as your upgrade? That is entirely up to you. To figure out what you want to offer, you have to ask yourself, if there was a booking store and I went shopping there, which rack would I shop on? Okay, and that is completely up to you. There are no wrong answers, okay? If you are comfortable shopping on the $5 rack, those are the prizes you offer. If you're comfortable shopping on the $20 rack, those are the prizes you offer. If you're comfortable shopping on the $50 rack, we need to talk. But you decide what you want to offer as an upgrade, okay? So when they decide they want to host a party and they're going to choose the upgrade, this is super important. You get their party date locked in, you schedule it, and you tell them, I will send your prize when you have your party, because you're not going to send it now because they will take the prize and run, okay? We don't want to do that. They can wait until they have their party. What I typically do, and if you need help with clarification with this, we can ask questions in a little bit, but I typically add it to their host order after they've plugged it in, and then I may rework some of their half price items to make it a better deal, and I use my order payment account to pay for it. However, if I am getting a booking for a party, and I haven't even looked lately to see what the company's virtual party average is, but I know at one point it was like $450. The commission on a $450 party, I need that to be, you know, because that's the company average, right? So I'm just, you know, you would look at your own personal average, but you would want that to be more than you would pay for the product. You don't want to be, you know, you're going to make more than the product costs because you're going to choose wisely when you walk into the booking store. So, so there's that. That's how that works. And it's very important that they don't expect the prize now. Okay.
Actually, I had a quick question. Does everyone know how to check your show average? Can people shake their heads, yes or no?
I have an image I can send you, like a screenshot of how to get to it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's under performance details. I don't know if everyone knows how to access that, but I mean, that's a good gauge for everyone to know. That's something everyone should know, is what your show average is, whether you're just virtual consultant or you're doing in-home and online virtual parties.
And it's something to check and adjust your methods accordingly. Like if you feel like your show average isn't what it should be, then you would want to work on that, you know. And then it's really nice to watch it climb. If you make a change and then you say, oh my gosh, my show average went up, then you know you want to keep doing whatever it was you was doing. This is working out. So like I said, I had my early bird. I had my game raffle winners. The same message. The only thing that was changed was the people's names and the word game. And then my participation raffle winners. Again, the only thing that changed was the picture, the word participation, and the people. It's all the same message. Now, what do you do when they say, no, I don't want to have a party? I'm not interested in a party. I like to have my answers ready to go. When anybody ever says no to me, I always thank them for replying. Like, thank you so much for getting back to me, because I hate, you know, not having an answer. So I send an e-cookbook. Right now, I'm in love with the holiday appetizers e-cookbook. So I'm sending that. And then I send them an invitation to join my VIP group. So if you're not in my VIP group yet, here's the link, because you know what? If they don't want to host, I want them to be the very best customer and stay with me. So that has been, I mean, the way that I used to get bookings for my parties was asking my host to reach out. And I just kind of didn't like that so much because, first of all, she wasn't always doing it. Second of all, I felt like the ones who did, then, you know, obviously are recruit leads. But the ones who didn't left me in a lurch. You know, now I've got nothing. And then I was sending these rock star guest messages out, you know, oh, you were such a rock star, you should do a party. But it was really hard work trying to get people to respond to those messages. So saying you want a prize, people respond to that. And I do not feel cheap in the slightest by giving people an e-cookbook. Because again, let's review that guest experience. Where were they sitting? On the toilet or in the kitchen, scrolling Facebook? I don't need to send them like a physical prize for that. An e-cookbook is plenty for participating in an e-show. So I feel like it's an even exchange. So does anybody have questions for me about anything? Yes. I think, can everybody unmute? Okay, there we go.
Yeah, I'm gonna unmute them now.
Thanks, Amy. So I do roughly 5 to 6 parties a week, and I run them for 4 to 5 days a piece, and I post 8 posts per day in each party. Now with Facebook, I'm limited to about 40 to 50 posts per day max before I get shut down that I'm posting too much. How many parties do you run a week? How many days do you run? How do you get away from Facebook, from the over posting and getting put in Facebook jail? Because I would love to run 10 parties, at least 10 to 15 a week, but I can't because I'm maxed out by what I can post under my profile.
So Facebook, when you get in trouble with Facebook is when you do something that you're not usually doing. So I think you could maybe gradually increase, like just one more, you know, like just a smidge, because Facebook isn't going to see that as unusual. This is going to make everybody mad. I don't start all my parties on the same day. So that may be how I'm getting away with doing more, because like
You're staggering them.
I start 2 a day every day.
If I've got going, I'm still posting in each party night or 8 per day.
But you're not posting the same thing. I think that might be it.
If you're posting the same thing, the same time. And what I found in the past that was getting me in trouble was if you post like on the 0 or 5s. So like if you post at like say 12 o'clock, 12:05, 12:15, 12:20, like if you're posting on the 5s, that'll get you in trouble.
Yeah, I'll show you. This is my little spreadsheet of time that I.
Yeah, so if you do it on the
column
off,
is a different, like I labeled them A, B, C, and D, and like party A, I post at 8:01, 8:04, 8:07, 8:10, like, because it's not the, and then again, 12:02, 12:05, 12:08, 12:11. So it's not on the
it's
dot.
not on the 5s.
Yeah. And I usually do 3 minutes apart, because if I do have a guest who's watching their notifications, 3 minutes apart is enough not to make Facebook mad, but it's not enough that it's going to ding my guests like every time I post. It'll just say one time Amy posted and it's all 4.
Thank you for that tip. I had no clue about posting on the 5s, because I typically do that, because if I'm scheduling posts for 5 parties, I typically do 12, 12:05, 12:10.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
I like the spreadsheet that Amy has. That's a good idea, because then I can check it off and not get confused.
And then I'm just like, you know, Ruth is party A, so she gets the 8:01, you know, and Susie's party B, so she starts at 8:03 or whatever.
Good
You
idea.
definitely want to stagger those posts. You don't want to be posting the same thing on each party at the same time, because that's also going to trigger.
So how many?
Amy, you cluster your posts so that you're doing it at 8, at noon, at 8
4
at night
and
again?
8.
Oh,
8.
okay, 4 and 8.
12, 4 and 8. I do like 16 a day. So my pre-party day, I have, I think, 12 posts. I do those like, no, not 12. It's 9. I'm sorry, it's 9 posts, but I do them about every 2 hours, just one. And then day 1, 2, and 3, I have 16 posts. And then day 4, I have, I think, 13, and then they're just every hour, one every hour.
How many days do you run your parties for?
So I do, I guess 5 really, because I do a pre-party day and then I do 4 party days.
Guys, if you have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself. No one
Yay, I
has any
answered
questions.
everything.
Amy, I've got a question. Were you like an in-home consultant before? Like, were you
Yeah.
doing in-home parties and stuff?
Yeah, I did for, let's see, like 14 years, I think,
Yeah,
and 13 years. And then,
COVID hit.
no, actually before COVID, my friend asked me if I would do a virtual party for her. She was like, I can't really have people in my house. And I was like, okay. I really didn't want to. And I did. And then you know how it goes.
Yeah.
I booked some parties and then it just, and I was doing both for a while and then COVID. I actually, it's so funny because I was talking just yesterday to the host of my very last in-home party. Her party was scheduled for March 13th, 2020. That was the day that here the world shut down. They sent all the kids home
Yeah.
early. And she called me from Sam's Club and she was like, I'm buying stuff for my party, but I don't think we should have it because I think the world is shutting down.
Yeah, I
So,
had a party like that too.
yeah, so we turned her party into a virtual party and it just went from there. And a while back I had to kind of make the decision, was I going to go back to home parties?
Hmm.
And my virtual party business is so strong right now, I don't have the time for it. So I
Amy,
post about
Okay.
booking during the party. Hold on one second, because I've got somebody who won't unmute, but
Yeah, I'm going to try to
ask my
unmute them right now.
yeah. I do post about booking during the party. I want to say, oh gosh, because there's some that are like direct and then there's some that are indirect. So I want to say like maybe 3 that are direct. I've got that one graphic that I showed you that said SIP on it, you know, schedule, invite, participate. That's in there. And then I've got one that said that is and actually, I don't know if this is still available in marketing imagery. It was a video. It had that Anthony guy in there and it was said like virtual parties, but I can't find it in marketing imagery anymore, but I did find it on YouTube, I think. But I have that video in there. And while I'm saying the word video, yes, when things are moving on the screen, people's eyes are drawn. So I would encourage you to use as many videos as you are able when you are posting about products. People like to see stuff in action. That's why cooking shows are such a hit. And the videos are really helpful. And they, like, when you're scrolling, you know, if it's just a picture, sometimes you won't stop, but a video, you might stop for a second. And if you stop for a second on a video that's in Ruth's party, Facebook is going to go, oh, she likes posts from Ruth's party, and they will show your guests more posts from your party. So definitely use those videos. But so I have that one, and then I think I've got one on the very last day that either showcases the booking offer for the month that I'm trying to fill, or if I don't know that one yet, is just a generic like host, get, da 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 da. And then I have some indirect ones, like I have my host post. If you could get any one product and money wasn't an option, something like that, what would it be? And it's a picture of a shopping girl. And when my guests answer that and they're like, the Rock, I'm like, have you thought about hosting a party and get that for 50 to 60% off? Like every single one, have you thought about hosting a party? So that lets me know when I go to talk to that guest, you know, that they were interested in that. So
like a perfect segue to my question. Do you go live in your parties?
no.
Any
I do not.
videos of you in your parties?
Yes, there's actually a couple. I got so excited about the Veggie Wedger that I made a Veggie Wedger video. I really like it. And also I saw somewhere, and I don't remember who, so I don't want to not credit the right person, but I saw somebody use it on a stack of pepperoni. And I was like, so I used to use it on a stack of canned biscuits. And if they're cold enough, it's great. If they're room temperature, so, but I did, like in a video, I do the I do the biscuits first because I don't want them to get too warm. And then I did the stack of pepperonis. And it's so cool because you can throw them like in salad. You can make pepperoni monkey bread, like whatever.
Nice.
So there's that
Oh.
video. And then the other one I did, and this is a great tip. This is a great tip. Write this down. I learned this from Mary Haynes, who used to be a consultant, and now she runs, she has a consulting firm. So, but she recommended making magic word videos. So like super short videos, less than a minute, okay? And you want to have a variety of different products. You want to make a bunch so that you can pick and choose. I recommend making them on your phone because it's easy to grab them from there. And so like literally, this is my magic word video. I'll be like, hey guys, it's Pampered Chef Amy here with the garlic press. This is one of my favorite things. I just want to show you. You don't even have to peel the garlic. Look, there it goes. So the magic word of the day, and remember, don't post it below, but send me a message with it, is garlic. And you want to make it an easy word so it's easy to spell. Because if it's too hard to spell, like if you made the magic word ratatouille, nobody would send that to you if they don't know how to spell it. So then you post that in your party and you say like, you get 5 tickets if you send the magic word to me. And then they message you and they'll just message you garlic, you know, like that's the only thing. And so you're like, oh, you got it, 5 tickets. And, you know, we're always told this is a relationship business. You want to engage with your customers, right? And so we're supposed to, when they send us that, we're supposed to be like, how many people do you cook for? Which I'm going to tell you is a little creepy, okay, to just be like, right like that. So what I always say is, you got it, 5 tickets. Are you enjoying the party? That's all I need to ask them. It's the only thing. And then they're like, yeah, I love it. Or this is the one time, I only had this happen once. The lady goes, no, I prefer in-home parties. And I was like, okay. I said, thanks for letting me know. I hope I can make you enjoy this one.
Gosh.
Like, why would you put that? Well, you're not raised right. But so that's like, you can do 1 or 2 of the magic word videos, super short, but it's pre-recorded. I do not have time or makeup on at the right time to go live in all my parties. Like, I feel like I would go live in this one and then the rest of them would get the short end of the stick. So
Right.
I have a tip for you on that, Amy. If you go live from your business page, you can, because your pages are linked to your business page. After you go live in your business page, you can hit, go back to the page and hit the share button, and you can put it into every single party.
yes, I have tried that before, but I'm not consistent about when I go live. So
Me either. But anytime I go live, I've started doing it on my
you
business
share it to your
page.
parties.
And yeah, and I just started today sharing it in old parties. I'm just going ding, 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 ding into
Oh,
old
wow.
parties. And I just got a bunch of orders today. So
Nice.
I'm going to keep doing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what, Sue, I did that a while ago and I have to get back to doing it.
Yeah. I used to go just in my
Especially with the
VIP
$99
group.
sale right now. That's the perfect thing to do.
Yeah.
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 Actually, this is a quick question. Is everyone sharing the $99 special this month?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you're not, you need to be.
I'm sharing the $40 special because I want them to host to get it for $40.
Okay, that's great. But what I was going to say was, you guys got to also remember too, like if anyone's looking at that carving set for Thanksgiving, the cutoff is the 15th.
Mm-hmm.
So you really want to push it
Plenty
in
of
the
time
next
before.
week or so.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple other things I forgot. I do have 2 other videos. I have an opening video and a closing video. I completely forgot that I made those in there. And my opening video, I just introduced myself, like who I am, where I am, you know, that I'm in Virginia, which is hilarious to me because, you know, virtual parties have opened up a whole new world for us. And like, I have customers, you know, in Alaska. I have so many customers in Alaska. Like I just been doing a lot of parties up there, but I will say, you know, like I said, who I am, where I'm, but the most important thing I think in my welcome video is telling them where to find stuff. So I'm like, at the top of the party, like click into the party group and at the top on the featured link, blah, blah, blah. So I tell them where the ordering link is. And then I ask them to tell me where they're partying from for 5 tickets. So that hopefully, you know, they'll put where they're from, and then that'll show it to more people and blah, blah, blah. And in my closing video, I just, you know, thank them for participating, remind them where the ordering link is. And and invite them to join my VIP group. So, and in my VIP group, of course, I'm always showcasing specials and things like that. I really was anti-VIP group for a while. I didn't want to have one because I didn't want the responsibility. But in just 2 years, it has grown to like 1,600 people. So, because I'm very consistent in my parties about advertising it, so people are joining.
Amy, what's your party average, if I can ask?
My party average, everyone should know the I want to say maybe 800, maybe
Okay.
ish.
Yeah, I just
Don't
checked
know.
mine. Mine's about 8 something.
Were you
for
doing
virtual.
15 to 25 grand a month at 40 parties a month? That would be about right.
Okay, way to go.
Eh.
Way to go. Fast math. There you go.
There you go. But you should know that with the volume that she's doing, to have a show average that high, that's really awesome.
Mhm.
Because normally the more shows you do, your show average, unless you're really good at selling, which Amy is, goes down, because you have more flops and then more pops. So
Yep.
great job, Amy.
Thank
That's
you.
Amy, do you put that, the welcome video in your pre-party, or do you put that in your first day?
It's at the end of my pre-party
Okay.
day.
Anyone else have any other questions?
Obviously this is working for you. Kudos, mind blown. 16 posts a day makes my brain go bleh. So and you're using a template for 6 months at a time. How did you come up with your template?
Very good question. So, I really wish we had another word for template, because let's use two different terms so that I can explain this better. My outline, let's use the word outline for the products and the recipes and the engagement posts, like the actual posts. Template is a very open framework that says product, recipe, engagement. So with those two being different, I keep that template, that open framework is the same always. And it literally says like product, recipe, product, tip, product, recipe, product, So what I do at the beginning of each season is I say, what products do I want to feature? Always featuring my rock crock. I'm always featuring my cookware. I'm always featuring the new big whatever, air fryer. And so I plug those in where I see product, right? So in each section, because like Sue pointed out, I'm doing 8, 12, 4, 8. So each section is going to get a product. So I've got my rock crock, okay? So then I'm going to go on Consultant's Corner. No, not Consultant's Corner. Excuse me. I'm going to go on my website as a customer, and I'm going to look for a rock crock recipe that I feel like showcases the rock crock to the best of its abilities. I'm going to tell you, it is not the s'mores cake, okay, you guys? But I want to show the rock crock going from the stove to the microwave to the broiler. I want to show something that people would actually eat. So, sometimes that broccoli crust pizza, pick something else. And so that recipe, I'm going to look through that recipe. That recipe may also use, whatever I pick, may also use the garlic press. So now I'm going to talk about rock crock, chicken pot pie chowder, I don't know, garlic press. What book are you currently reading? It has nothing to do, my engagement post has nothing to do with it, but I've got a set of 4 that's a product, a recipe featuring that product, like a supplemental product that goes with it, and then something fun. And that's how I build my template. So I very roughly start with, what big products do I want to feature? And I go like rock, air fryer. And then I from there work my way down. And the whole time that I am scrolling Facebook, I'm saving every funny engagement, anything that I find. You know, I have this girl I went to high school with named Angela. She posts funny stuff all the time. I'm like always creeping up on her page. You know, she'll be like, which cell phone was your first cell phone? You know, and it's got like an old Nokia. So I'm like, grab that graphic, save it for later. And I'm always gathering that stuff. For
Yeah,
the
create
future.
a folder in boards like that. I have some on motivational ones too that I see that I steal from other people's pages.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Does that kind of help, Leslie, with the how I build it?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
And I'm gonna come stalk you because I'm only a few hours away.
Okay, do it.
Anyone else?
Well, I'm more than a few hours away most of the time. I get over there about once a year. My question would be is I see this is recorded and there's a lot of great information here. Is that going to be available to kind of recap? Because I was just playing Sorry during the last bit, getting ready to tuck my little guy into bed.
Yes,
Kim,
it will.
Recording when it's posted.
I will be posting it in the morning to Randy's team page, and then if your director is on Randy's team page, then she can share it out to your to their teams, unless you are on Randy's team page. Or if you want, you can feel free to friend request me and I can send it to you. We can do that also.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Rose, do you have anything? My only team member that's on tonight.
She pretty much covered everything that I wanted to ask her. So I've been just jotting things along. Leslie, took it away. I wanted to know how she came up with her template because, I just racked my brain around, today, what am I going to feature? What am I going to talk about? And it's true. You can post anything. They're going to buy whatever they want anyway. But I like that method. Start with something big, shoot with the recipe, and then talk about what other products went along with that recipe, and then just throw something fun.
Yep, absolutely.
I like that.
Yeah, and I honestly, I don't spend a lot of my valuable airtime talking about stuff like the brownie pan, like stuff that everybody has and stuff that's like,
Mhm.
I try to make sure that I'm featuring the higher price stuff, the stuff that I would flip past if I was flipping the catalog, like, oh no, not that. Like, let me just
Mhm.
find some, $5 stuff. Because I feel like we are the only people who can really tell somebody why they need a rock rock, why they need that double burner grill pan. We're the ones who know how to make it perform.
The other thing too is a lot of times, like, if customers have the product, they're going to talk it up themselves.
Mhm. Right.
If you post on it and someone says, oh my God, I have that, I love it. And then you can just chime in and be like, what do you love about it? What do you make with it? And ask those questions. And the same thing if you're at an in-home party. I did an in-home party Friday night. It's over $1,800. I mean, because the thing is, people are at the point now where they want to get back to doing in-home parties. They want to see the product. They want to touch it. They're there for the recipe, really. They're there for the food and the socialization. So a lot of times people are just talking amongst themselves and then they're talking up the products. They're selling the products for you. If they have the product and they love it, they're going to sell the product for you. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Oh, it does. It does.
All right. Anyone else have any other questions? If not, I want to thank Amy again.
Thank you,
It was a
Amy. We
pleasure,
appreciate
Amy.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Amy.
And
Thanks for having me.
I was
Like I
closer,
said-
Amy and I would be best friends.
Mhm.
We'd
Like
hang
I
out,
said-
braid each other's hair.
Let me see. Like I said, what I'll do